my dad was a butcher, and it was something that we really connected on growing up. I did end up going to school for a little bit of culinary arts, decided that the kitchen and the burns weren't for me. I'd rather go for the cold and the cuts.
There's a guy in Hamilton who a few years ago was doing like a lot of workshops, and a friend of mine, he was like, hey, we should check this out, went and did it, and then later that summer I quit my job and started butchering because I had a very good time doing that.
Started butchery, you know, in the dish pit every day, working late nights, and then my boss came up to me one day and he goes, you know, you're too good for doing this, how would you like to cut some meat? And here I am.
I got into butchery through just kind of picking it up as I went, and then I realized I had an interest in it. So I went off to school at Olds. The meat cutting course up in Olds of Alberta is really nice.
I wanted to join the competition because I love to compare myself against the best in the business, the best butchers of Ontario.
I like to test myself and push myself to the limits. I kind of want to put value into myself.
I like being part of the competition because you get an opportunity to set yourself among some of the better butchers in the province. It gives you an opportunity as well to push yourself to the next level of what you can do.
I had a blast today. Yeah, so much fun. And it's like really nice to meet other people in the industry. And you know, I talk about meat way too much outside of work, so it's nice to get that all out here.
I don't really compete very often, so it was a little nerve-wracking. It was a very quick half hour.
It was a lot of fun. At first you're just kind of not quite sure of the working environment, but once you kind of get into it 5-10 minutes, you get a little bit comfortable with what's around you, and yeah, it turned out great. It was a good time.
What I really enjoy is the adrenaline of it. 30 minutes feels like 5 minutes, and it goes by real fast, so you got to be on the ball.
An elimination round is basically breaking apart half a pig, and there's so many different variations of what you can break that into.
Fantastic products, you know, Conestoga has always been a great supplier for Denninger's for a really long time. I've always been happy with their pork, and once again, it's just another couple great pieces.
My strategy was to have minimal amount of waste, so I myself did a lot of kebabs and stuff like that, so my trim was very minimal.
I just came in and I knew what I had to do, I knew what I had to cut, and I just got on with it and cut what I needed to cut.
I knew what I wanted to do with it, and I knew I could execute it within the 30 minutes.
I did have a little bit of practicing to do each this week a couple times, so I did have a routine going into the session on what I'm going to cut first and second and so on.
I try and give out the best looking products, the most consistent products, and with the touch of hygiene too, because the hygiene is the most important part of this trade.
The most difficult part of competition is I believe it's yourself. Knowing what's next makes a hell of a difference.
The time was very difficult.
That's what separates really, really good butchers. If you've ever put yourself in a lot of strain and stress, then you know what it's like. But if you're just sitting there kind of falling back, you're not necessarily always working at a high level very, very intensively. It's something that you're not going to be used to.
The speed brings a lot of anxiety, but it also helps you to move to the next level on what you can do with the limited time.
I think it's the creativity of the cuts. Creating something that you can do in a speedy amount of time that's unique and also going to be really good quality. I think that's the biggest challenge. I feel like that's the art of butchery, so leaning into that is a really good thing to practice.